All right. So here's how you can go through and calculate your excess reactant. There's two main methods to doing this. Okay. First, in the problem, just to kind of go over this, I know we did this in class before. You had 2.7 moles of C2H4, and we want to know how many moles of water could be made. That was one reaction that we did, and the other one was we started at 6.3 moles of O2, and we wanted to know how many moles of water we could make. Okay, so moles of C2H4 on the bottom to cancel, moles of my chemical B on top, 2 and 1. We came up with 5.4 moles. From the oxygen, you get your moles of oxygen on the bottom, which is going to be 3 from the equation, and this is 2 from the equation for moles of water. So we came up with 4.2. So the smaller amount of product is 4.2 moles of water that can form, and that tells me that oxygen is a limiting reactant. Okay, that means if oxygen is a limiting reactant, that means that the C2H4 is the excess reactant. And so what that means is that we have more than we need of the C2H4. And so there's two different methods of solving for the excess reactant. And you can choose whichever method you feel more comfortable with. Both of them work out the same way, and both involve the same number of steps, 2 steps. Okay? So looking at a problem like this, we're going to use the data that we just calculated. So the first method, okay, so we'll call it method 1. All right, you're going to take the amount of product that you made, okay, your amounts of water, and you're going to subtract them. Okay, so in this case, we're going to take 5.4 moles of water minus your 4.2 moles of water. And you're going to get 1.2 moles of water. Now, what this number represents is it represents the amount of excess product that we could make if we had more of our oxygen. So it's like our excess amount of product. Okay, so like that's in method 1. That's the first step, and then the second step is you're going to convert your moles of water to your moles of your excess reactant. Okay, so you subtract those, you get your moles of your excess product. Now you're going to go to excess reactant, C2H4. Okay, so we're going to put moles H2O on the bottom, and we're going to go moles of C2H4 on the top. From the equation, this is a 1, this is a 2, and we get 0.6 moles of excess reactant. So that's method 1, and to me, this is kind of working backwards. So what it's saying is that we could, if we had more of the other ingredient, okay, if we had more oxygen, you can make 1.2 more moles of water. So if this is our excess reactant, excess product, we're going to convert our excess product to excess reactant. For some reason, students tend to like this one more. I'm not sure why. It doesn't make sense in my brain, but there are a lot of things that don't make sense in my brain. So I'm going to show you the other way. And let's call this one method 2. Okay? All right, so method 2, the first step in method 2, what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the numbers that we have. We're gonna look at how much product we could make in this reaction. Okay, you're gonna start with your smaller amount of product. Okay, and 4.2 moles of H2O. And we're going to convert that to our moles of C2H4. So we know we can only make 4.2 moles of water. It's the smaller amount of our chemical. Okay, we can only make 4.2 moles of it, and we know the amount of C2H4, our excess reactant, we know we have too much of that. So what we're going to calculate, this is going to represent how much C2H4 we actually need. We know we have more than we need, so I want to figure out how much we actually do need. So you're going to put 4.2, you're going to put moles of H2O on the bottom, and then moles of C2H4 on the top. So this is going to be, let's see, from our equation, a 1, and this is a 2. Yes, okay. So what do we get? We get 2.1 moles of C2H4. Sorry, it's all squished on the side. So what we figured out is that to make 4.2 moles of water, we only need 2.1 moles of C2H4. Okay? So the second part of this is we're going to say I have, and this is from the original equation, 2.7 moles of C2H4. This is what we have. We're going to subtract what we need. We have 2.7 moles. We only need 2.1 moles. So when you subtract them, you get your excess reactant. So like when you go to the grocery store, hopefully you have more money than you need, right? So you can buy everything on your list. So this method makes a little bit more sense to me. That doesn't mean you have to solve it that way. But this is going to be, both methods work. You both get the same answer. My suggestion is if one, for some reason, makes a little more sense to you, use that method, okay, when you're solving them. But either way, you notice in both methods, they take the same number of steps.